and we're going to start with technique and application. So first, thank you, Izetta. We appreciate you and your time. What's the most common mistake you see stylists make when applying their extensions?
Hi guys, hi Vale, welcome. The first mistake is not blending color well. Okay, so blending color has to be 100%. It has to blend like client's color with the color extension. So that's a number one mistake. You can do everything else 100% perfect. If the color at the end doesn't match, nothing matches.
Nothing matches.
Right.
Now, how do you determine the right amount of hair for each client? So gram wise, how much hair, how do you determine how much they each
So
need?
depend on the length and thickness of their hair and the length that they're going for.
Okay.
So those are just the
Gotcha.
two main things.
Now, what's your go-to method for ensuring a seamless blend? What's your go-to method?
I think crystal bonding, because crystal bonding can hide and it's easy to hide without being, without show the extensions through. So with that method, you can use on any type of hair for any clients, for any color, for thickness, for length. And like I said, because it's so easy to hide them and easy to blend, you can go very high, you can on the top of the head, you can go close to the hairline. So that would be the number one that you can do for any type hair and any length of the hair.
Gotcha. So that makes sense. That's your go-to.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about, how do you section the hair for the most natural looking result?
Sectioning is, again, depending what type of installation you do. So different type of installation needs different sectioning. And then depending on the length and thickness of their hair. If it's thinner hair, you have to stay a little bit lower on the back and around their face, so you have enough hair to hide it, to cover it. On a thicker hair, a lot of times you have to go higher, so it blends it better, so it doesn't leave you like that thickness on the top when you let their hair fall at the end.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Now, what are your top tips? This kind of goes back to that first thing you mentioned with color matching. What are your top tips for color matching extensions for natural hair? So you said that's like one of the most common mistakes you see. What are other top tips to get the color match right, to avoid any common mistakes?
Okay, so like I said, the color wheel is the best thing you can have in a salon. And be sure that you have like so many different colors, tones of colors on that color wheel. So when client comes, then you're sure that you're gonna find their color on that color wheel, okay? And then you just go from there. You can mix and match different colors from the color wheel, but color wheel is the number one. It's much easier than go and keep coloring and recoloring their hair, okay?
Now, let's talk a little about how you prevent damage to the client's natural hair.
Okay, so again, you have to know which type of installation you're gonna do. So with each type of installation, there's different tension on the hair. So you have to be careful not to have any like tension, like not to come too close to the scalp. So there's no tension, there's no pulling on the roots.
Gotcha. And how do you handle clients that have very fine or very thick hair when applying extensions?
That's again another story. Like you have to decide what type of extensions or installation you're gonna do, because there's different type of installation for different type of hair. So on a thinner hair, you can choose, it could be any type of extensions, but it depend on their style, daily style. That's like a number one kind of thing. You have to ask like what kind of styles you do through the day, okay? And then for the thicker hair, you can pretty much do any type of extensions. For thin hair, you kind of have to choose what's the best for them. It could be crystal bonding, probably one of the best ones because they're easy to hide, and then microbeads work. Sometimes you can mix and match. Like you can do like part of it microbeads, and then maybe around their face, crystal bonding.
Oh, so a little hybrid.
Yeah, you can mix and match with any type of, like, I have a clients where they do wefts on the back, and then because of their style, they're like pulling their hair up. I would put either underneath or around their face crystal bondings because they're such
yeah.
a small pieces so that you can't see it.
Okay. Now we mentioned a handful of techniques and applications. What are your must-have tools for a flawless installation?
So sectioning comb, every stylist has sectioning comb, hair clips, hot tool for, like, let's say, the K-tips or keratin ones. Then there's a little sectioning, not a sectioning, but a little plastic piece that holds the hair away from the tool when you're applying it. What else we would need? Little scissors, needle and a thread for weft extensions. That's pretty much it.
Now, let's just change gears a little bit and talk about maintenance and client education. What's the best way to explain extension care to clients so they actually follow through with it?
Okay, so the best way is to explain, like, let them know, like, do you know how much money you spend for extensions? Extensions are not cheap. So if you want to keep them in such a good condition as long as possible, and it could be up to 2 years, very important to buy a good product and products and a brush, so you can take care of those extensions so they can last longer.
Yeah, okay, and that's simple too, that's nothing crazy. How often should clients return for move up or maintenance?
So anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks, depending on their like how fast their hair grows and how much they're pulling on them. And then there's the crystal bonding, they can last even longer. So anywhere from 3 to 5 months.
And now, what products do you recommend to help with maintenance, and what maybe should clients avoid?
Well, there is nothing really they have to avoid products wise. I do recommend sulfate-free shampoo and conditioner that is better than just the regular ones. But there's products like oiling hair extensions after every wash, heat protectant if they curl their hair or like add any heat to it. And then, like I said, sulfate-free shampoo and conditioner, and a good wet brush that you can brush it through so it doesn't pull on the hair extension.
Okay. Now, what about tangling and matting? Do you see clients that come in with those issues? What do you tell them?
Yes, I do have clients with the tangled hair. A lot of times it's where they just brush it from outside quick, and then they don't go really through it. So very important to brush their hair if possible a couple times, and like through the beads, through the wefts, like everywhere. And then if they really have that problem, they can use leave-in conditioner on those spots before they brush it.
Okay, got it. Now, we'll switch gears again and talk a little more troubleshooting. How do you fix an installation that wasn't done properly, from another stylist or another salon?
Depending on what's the problem. Most of the time I see color doesn't match perfectly, and that's the huge thing. You can do, like I said, everything else perfect. If the color doesn't match, when she walks out, you can see the line where her hair is and where the extension is. So it's pretty much, it's easy to do it. If you would do new hair extension set, then you just take color wheel, match it 100% color, and then do installation. If they have a problem with, if they're gonna keep those extensions they're in already and the color doesn't match, you can always recolor certain pieces, add maybe a little bit highlights, a little bit of lowlights, so it matches it. Or if the installation isn't good, like maybe they're not installed proper way, there's like tension pulling, you just fix those problems.
What do you do if the extensions are slipping?
Uh, yes, so depends on what type of hair they have. People with a thin and fragile hair, you have to kind of keep eye on like what type of extensions is good for them. Not every, because their hair is fragile, it's thin, there's not enough hair maybe in that bead. Like if the one piece of hair has a gram hair, 1 gram of hair, then you should put close amount of their hair with that 1 gram.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of almost equal amount. On a thinner hair, it's harder. So you may want to offer them crystal bonding, because then you can create your own weight, smaller pieces with a thinner hair.
Now, what about blending issues when the haircut is too blunt? What do you do? What do you recommend, or how do you fix that for the client?
Okay, so the blunt cut has to be like you have to thin out the ends to get rid of that sharp line. So that necessarily doesn't mean you're gonna thin whole head or go. You don't want to go too high, because they're always scared. Oh, you're gonna cut my hair. So you're not really cutting the length of their hair. You're just getting rid of that sharp blunt line. So you take a thinning shears in each section, like while you're applying the extension, you just take each section of their hair and thin the ends kind of opposite way, so it gives you that natural look on the ends.
Now, what's your advice to a client when they complain about discomfort or tightness? And we know that can happen even with a proper install, and that if it's a new service for that client, they
Yes.
could be a little sore. What advice do you give your client?
Okay, so I usually explain them. I usually explain them right away. It could be a little bit tension, a little bit uncomfort first night or two, because it's you have extra weight in your head, something new in your head if you never had it before. So it could be a little bit uncomfortable, laying on the beads, or a little bit tightness. And if it doesn't go away after a day or two, then it's probably your scalp is very sensitive. So maybe we can talk about different type of extensions, installation, or some pieces. She may say, this part it's a little bit tight or pulling. Just loosen it up a little bit. If it's like, let's say, microbead or weft or tape in, whatever. But everybody's different. Unless they have like very sensitive scalp, then they may not be for extensions. Out of my hundreds and hundreds of people, I may have one. They just couldn't do any type of extensions because her head is so sensitive.
Gotcha. Now, let's talk a little bit about business and professional growth. What pricing strategy do you recommend for stylists offering extensions?
Okay, so it could be anywhere from 500 to 2,000. Really depend again on how like what's the length of their hair, what's the length they're looking for. So when you decide how many, you have to decide how many grams. Depending on that, you would know like the price, how much that client needs to spend for that hair. And then the best thing is always to offer them having a salon payment plans, because not everybody, they want a hair so much, but they can't afford it. But when you tell them, hey, we do have a plan where you like it takes a certain amount of money every 2 weeks off your account, they're like, oh, perfect, then I'll do it because I can afford it that way.
Now, what about upselling retail products to extension clients, without sounding pushy?
Well, when you explain them, like, and they, when you tell them the price, they know the hair extensions are not cheap, okay? And if you want them to last pretty long, and they can last up to 2 years, it's very important to, like, if you can spend $1,000 on hair extensions, then it's worth it to spend another 50 or 100 for good products, so you can take care of them and they can last pretty long, rather than be buying new hair constantly.
And how do you explain the value of premium extensions to clients who only focus on price?
Okay, so there's so many different type of extensions out there when you go online and purchase it, and you don't know really what you're buying until you get it. So our hair is like very good quality. All you have to do, buy good products and stick with those products. After every wash, you know, add oil, brush them every day, use heat protectant, so that way you know it's gonna last you very long. That's why we're trying to teach our clients, because I'm not happy if the client isn't happy. So I'm not gonna lie to you about my product, because when you put it in, hair extensions go out there and they tangle next day, of course you're gonna figure out like, oh, she's lying to me. Okay, so it's very important to tell the truth, explain them everything, and then, you know, they can go from there.
Now, how did you build confidence in offering extensions when you first started?
Well, it took me time, you know, from the beginning. You really wanted to do it, and then I keep like, you know, taking classes and practicing, and then when you see that smile on their face, when they're so happy that you make them happy going home, you know, having a long, nice, thick hair, then it's the best thing you can do. You know, that's just like $1 million thing when you see that you make someone happy.
I've got 2 more questions for you. What's your favorite transformation story you've ever done with extensions?
Okay, there's so many, but I remember like this one. She's still my client. She's been my client maybe for like last 6 years or so. And she has microbead extensions, okay? So when she came first time, she's like almost crying, like, I don't know what to do. She damaged her hair, or someone damaged her hair with the bleaching. So one side of her hair was like maybe 1 inch long, and then the other side like to her shoulder. So she's like, what can I do? Is there any way? And then she was looking for longer hair. Mm-hmm. So I said, let's not go too long. Let's go a little bit longer, fill this short spot, you know, even it up with another side, give you a little bit fullness, and you have a nice look, nice style. When I did it first time, she was like so happy. And then after the while, because we were just putting maybe 50 grams of hair just to, you know, even it up, those short pieces, mm-hmm. her hair started growing, and she wasn't playing with her hair anymore because she was happy with the look. Mm-hmm. So she let go of her hair. So mm-hmm. her hair start growing. Sure. And then like trimming it quite often, very important, because that speeds up your growth.
Gotcha.
So now her hair is all even, and she can go longer and
shorter.
Yeah.
All right, last one. If you had to give stylists one golden rule for extension success, what would it be? One golden rule.
Do your work as best as you can, and be like, tell them the truth mm-hmm. with the clients. Like, never try to like lie to them to make money, because they're not stupid. When they get out there, they'll learn. If not, maybe that one client, trust me, like, you have to be truthful. You have to tell them the truth. Do your job good, and then don't be scared to charge it.
Right.
They're gonna pay you as much as you want, if you ask as much as you ask them, if you do good work.
Right.
And they're gonna always recommend new people. So yeah.
All right.
Well,
that's it for today. Izetta, thank you for your time. Yeah. And that's all from New York House of Hair Extensions. We will be back again.